Not a problem. Today we got a special edition of these guys. We're going to give you a list. A list that we're going to go through. What's this list about? It's 10 things we all need to start saying more often.
More often to each other.
Yeah.
Like birds.
Birds. And cornucopia.
And lemonade stand.
And chorizo.
Chorizo! Yeah! Chorizo! Yeah, no problem. You remember the other day you said nothing to me? You were just like, nothing.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, that's probably the greatest way we can start our list is just by saying nothing. Because the reality is, when it comes to number one on this list, because no particular order here, we're just going through a list. Yeah. Sometimes in life, it's best to just say nothing. Yeah. But we got to know when to not say and when to say. So what do you got? When do we say nothing?
Well, I think that we all have a habit to want to chime in on everything. And a lot of times we'll just kind of say those little comments from the peanut gallery, and unnecessary, or we'll have those little attitude kicks and stuff like that. When really sometimes it's just going to create unnecessary drama. Yeah. It serves no purpose. Yeah. Nothing wrong with taking a second and seeing, what, is there value to me saying what I'm thinking of saying? And if not,
that's it. It's going back to that awareness, being mindful of what you're about to say and sort of responding a lot of times versus reacting. Yeah. That's a great thing to do. Is just bring a little mindfulness into some conversations and sometimes just say nothing. There's number one.
That's number one.
Just like that.
Number two is a good one.
What do you got?
I like number two, even though you say it's in no particular order. Number two is like, why not say, this is something he does a lot, because he's an encyclopedia for this stuff. Yeah, but movie quotes from great movies. Just quotes from them. Random things, anything that comes to mind.
Anything. What's the point of this? What's the point? Where would be the value in pulling out movie quotes randomly? Like, you're in a conversation and boom, you just throw out a movie quote. Or you're with a group of friends and boom, a movie quote. What value we got there?
One word.
One word.
Fun.
Hey, I'm heading upstairs.
Okay.
Harry! I've reached the top!
Okay.
Why not? Hey,
let's have fun with it.
What's wrong with having fun?
It's a good time. This list is supposed to be about bringing back some more mindfulness, some more conscious awareness, some fun, some joy to life. And one of the things is anytime you could just throw in a little movie quote, a little enjoyable thing, have fun with it. Yeah. Bring it out. Doesn't matter the situation. Just have fun with it. We're starting the list off light. We're going to go deeper. We're going to get a little more hectic.
To the depths.
Movie quotes.
Yeah.
Enjoy them. I know everybody loves them. Everybody does them.
Have fun.
Do it up. Number three.
Number three
is where we get a little deeper.
Yes.
And where we start to actually get into something called relationships that both can happen with work, co-workers, or with family members, or with your significant other, or even the guy at the grocery store who's stacking apples, and he's like, I really don't want to stack apples. And you walk up to him and you say, you know what? I feel you, brother. I feel you. I understand where you're coming from.
Yep.
In a sense, I empathize with where you are.
Yep.
And that's one of the things is when you feel where someone's coming from, and I mean legitimately. If you're going to say this to somebody, you got to legitimately feel it. In this, again, we come back to mindfulness. It's like you're in a situation with somebody. Maybe there's a little argument going on. Something's happening, and instead of just like trying to put your own opinion on it or your own judgment of what's happening, really listen to what someone's saying. Feel what they're going through.
Yep. And
then when you got that, tell it, I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Because everyone's coming from somewhere.
That's it.
So if you take the chance to get to know that, maybe you won't react so crazily right away.
And that's it. And effective communication comes with being able to empathize or understand. Because the reality is we perceive situations different from one another.
Absolutely.
So you're going through something, you think, how is that even dramatic for that person? Because it may not be dramatic for you, but to them it's real.
Yep.
And you got to feel them out. So you know what? Number three, say, I feel you.
And I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt that. I feel you, Joe. I feel
No
you
problem.
about that one.
No
Now,
problem.
we go to number 4. I think that's the number that comes after 3.
Yeah, it is.
Number 4 is a good little saying right here. It's just 2 words. It's my bad.
My bad.
You know, this is all about just being willing to accept the fact that sometimes it's us who's responsible for something that happened. It's not that, like we just have this tendency to always be like, look for something else we can quickly blame.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can think about those times when, you're stuck in traffic or something and you're the one who cut somebody off, but instead of just being like, my bad, saying to yourself, you're just like, oh, it's because that idiot up front that did that.
Because that you see the piece of gravel on the road?
Yeah.
Had to get around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had to get around it. And this is very common also in the workplace, and it's just taking responsibility or not throwing someone under the bus.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Buses
Coming
are heavy.
from nobody wants to get hit by that magic school bus.
Yeah.
But coming from the magic school bus was a good thing.
Oh,
back in the day, wasn't it? Okay. No
Magic
problem.
school bus. Yeah.
But yeah, no, coming from having spent a lot of time in offices, there's a lot of something bad happens and it's like, no, it's someone else's fault. It's Bill's fault.
Yes.
Because, he's not here today. And so let's all blame him on the team.
Yeah.
And then so when he comes back to work, he has to get called into the office and someone's got to tell him, hey, these guys are all saying you didn't do your part.
Yeah.
Just take responsibility. If you mess up, own up to it, take it, be like, my bad, and move on from there. Cut the drama down, just own it. Because you'll learn a lot more from just owning something versus trying to find a way out of it. And I know it seems scary. It seems scary.
Yeah, of course it does.
Oh yeah, I got to take responsibility for it. But it's never as scary as we think it's going to be. That's just the perception.
Never, of course. And I do want to make a note that that's Bill's second appearance
Is
in an
Bill.
episode of these
Oh,
guys.
Bill-
He was also the guy who wouldn't like the selfies.
Yeah,
Bill.
Bill would have hated that selfie. Woo. Billy. We'll get Bill on the show one day.
We will.
We'll get
Yeah,
Bill
we need
on.
Bill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get him on the show. But
5.
we're moving on to 5.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting a little bit into health here.
Oh,
Where'd this list come from?
I don't know.
What a list.
Yeah.
I'll just have a water.
What the heck did you just say there?
I'll just have a water.
We're having coffee today.
We're having coffee. Look at these cabbies. There actually was water in these for quite a while. And
Yeah. Well, that one actually brings up some interesting social commentary. In the
Yes.
sense of like we live in a society that it's almost like shunned upon if you're someone who in certain social settings isn't choosing to have alcohol.
yeah.
Or you're the bum in the party. You're the little what's that word I'm looking for? You're just the buzzkill. That's
Yeah,
it.
you're
You're the
the buzzkill.
buzzkill in the party because you decide not to do that. You need to be drinking. You need to be doing that and have a good time. This could even extend to something as simple as like always choosing to have pops or whatever stuff like that. Why not go for the healthy choice?
And the fact of the matter is, there's going to be some Americans who are watching this and they're going to go, "Did you just call it pop?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yes." What? That's what it is, right?
Well,
But yeah, soda, pop, whatever it is you call it, no problem. That's the thing is not only is it the healthier choice sometimes, just be like, what, I'll have the water.
Yeah.
I'll cut down on the sugar. I'll cut down on that stuff. No one's saying you got to do it every time. No one's saying you can't drink. You can't do that. It's just be mindful of like, next time, I'm going to get the water. Or I'm just going to try it and see how it makes you feel. See how different it is. This list is interesting. It touches a lot of different subjects.
it is, and this next one is a great one to have kind of in this middle section here.
Oh yeah.
Number 6, and I'm gonna say it not just out loud. But I'm gonna say it right now to you, Joe.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Oh.
And thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing such a thing.
Yeah.
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 You remember the other day when we did that in front of like the whole group?
We did.
Yeah.
That was a good exercise.
Yeah. That was
This
good.
guy bald.
Balled my fucking eyes out.
Yeah. That did.
Just did. Just did.
Yeah, but no, there's the power in saying thank you,
Yes.
and to mean it genuinely behind it, not just passively saying it.
It's gotta be real.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gotta be real.
Yeah, and like with that exercise, we saw that when
Yeah.
people actually showed what they're appreciative for within each individual, like it meant a lot. It made this guy cry. It's.
And that's the thing is you gotta take it to that level of again because you're going within and then you're thinking to yourself, how do I actually feel about this situation, this person, this thing that they might have done, and you're expressing how you actually feel about it, which means you kind of got to be vulnerable sometimes. That's a challenge that I've had for a little while. Is I can say appreciative things to people all the time, but like sometimes when it's something that just kind of hits a chord, it's tough for me. So it's been an interesting exercise. But overall, in relationships, why this is key too is there's a lot of people, whether it's friends, family, birds, dogs,
Especially the birds.
the janitors that are cleaning up things that are in the
Yeah.
they're in the janitor's closet.
Yeah.
In here.
That's what they're supposed to be. Yeah.
No problem. You appreciate that sometimes we overlook and we miss these things that they do for us all the time. And to take that second to be mindful, be appreciative of actually what's happening, be grateful for it, and expressing it from a genuine place is a very powerful thing. Mm-hmm. It's a very powerful thing. It's almost as powerful as number 7, which is going up to somebody, and maybe they're having a tough time with something, maybe they're not. Yeah. Maybe they're contemplating a new decision in life.
Could be anything, really. And
just saying, I believe in you. Or I know you can do this. Or you got this.
Yep. It's that bit of encouragement. It goes a long way because people are so used to getting shot down. And, especially when they're maybe trying something new or adapting some new lifestyle change or something like that, they're going to have a lot of people who are going to be skeptical of it. Yeah. So to have someone instead step in and say, you know what? I believe in you. And even if it's, let's say, something that you don't necessarily want to make within your own life or have never done yourself, you can still appreciate the steps that they're taking for themselves and support them in that journey. Right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is you never know too how much you mean particularly to somebody. Sometimes that's something we don't see. We don't quite recognize the actual breadth of what you mean to a particular person. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes it coming from you of being like, I believe in you. I know you can do this. To them, it hits them like, whoa, like this person that I respect, that is whatever. Yep. It can mean a lot. It goes a long way. So, I'd be genuine about it.
Of course.
I'll always,
All of these be genuine.
Be genuine. That's the key here. It's a key formula. Yeah. But, I believe in you.
Oh, well, I believe in this list.
Yeah, it's a good list.
But this next one, this is episode 8. So this is number 8.
Right.
To celebrate this being episode 8, we decided to give you a list of 10. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's these guys' logic.
That's it.
But number 8... I'm singing sometime. Yeah. But number 8 is, this is for you. The whole idea of giving something to another. I think a lot of us have, whether it be programmed or just we find ourselves inherently selfish in the sense of like, oh, I need this, I go get that, take care of myself. There's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. Yeah. But sometimes there's nothing wrong with thinking of somebody else. Yeah. If you're out there, if you can get something that can also help somebody else, why not get it for them?
Yeah. And it's interesting. I know a lot of religious communities kind of do this, and I was reading about this the other day. There's something that happens where, and it's not possible for everybody, but it's just something to think about and be mindful about too. It's like, some peeps will, and it's really important where you choose to donate your money to. There's a lot of real not so good charities out there. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people donate 10% of their income to a charity or their church or whatever it might be. And I'm not saying, it's all about the church, all about the charity. It's the idea that, you're thinking about giving or sharing or doing that sort of thing with peeps. And I think that's important. Whether it's something as simple as like you went and got a coffee and it's like just get a coffee for your friend too and be like, yo, this is for you. You don't even have to ask, right? You just show up and give them something. Whether it's a homeless person on the street, this is for you. And see how it makes you feel. Giving things. Giving things.
Yeah.
Another good one.
Yeah.
Number 9.
The whole list is good ones.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah. Number 9. Number 9, that's a Beatles song. Hey, you probably don't know that.
I don't.
Yeah.
No. Now they're going to think I have no culture.
That's right. No, great. We just ruined it. That's it. This guy's is number 9.
Yeah.
You can learn from this. You can learn from this. And it's something you can say to somebody else. You can also say it to yourself. Either way, you need to say it more.
Yes.
This is what this list is about. Mm-hmm. You can learn from this.
Certainly can. I just learned something about the Beatles, but
there you go.
No, but even aside from that, it's just the whole idea that there's something to get from everything, right? There's always kind of, if you want to say, a bright side to everything. You might be down to dump something maybe really challenging, but there's still always something you can take from it. Mm-hmm. That whole cliche saying of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. To a certain degree. It's all new experience. There's nothing wrong with anything really.
Yeah, and it's the idea of just pull yourself out of that victim state. Something happens, whether it's big or small. Pull yourself out of that victim state and say, you know what? For a moment here, I'm going to feel it, whatever. I'll feel everything that I need to feel around it. But then for a moment, you're just going to say, all right, what can I take from this? Why might this be presenting in front of me? What is it that I can actually learn from this? So it's like, life gives you lemons get the wood out,
Yeah.
get the sign going, build your lemonade stand,
That's right.
put good ingredients in there, organic lemons, organic sugar if you're gonna add sugar, whatever you want to do. You could just do
Don't even
sour
do it.
lemonade stand,
Yeah.
do like shots, like
Yeah.
wake me up shots,
why
like
not?
what just happened,
Why not?
right? And you make lemons out of the lemonade out of the lemons that life gave
Yeah,
you.
that's
That's
right.
the bottom line here.
Lemonade.
As we move to number 10,
Number 10 probably doesn't make much sense to have as number 10. We should have done it as number 1.
it's kind of the first thing we do with peeps, but
Yeah. But it's just the word hi.
hi.
Could be hey. Could be hello. And not just about saying this to somebody you already know, but the idea of even just saying that to a stranger or someone you don't know.
Hi.
And we live in a world that's like lost in our phones, right? Yeah, we're projecting not only towards things within ourselves, but downwards. We're just lost in these devices. We're not connecting with the people out there.
Yeah.
So it's like, at this point, it would almost be like an experiment. See what it's like to actually try and connect with people in this world, you know? Because it'll really stand out way more than it would have in the past.
Absolutely. Connect with peeps. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know what you're going to get out of them or what share you're going to share with that whole experience. So just reaching out and saying hi to your neighbor, saying hi to the person on the subway or anything that anybody you feel you want to reach out to.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Hi. Thanks for watching.
Because that's all for this episode.
Yeah.
We'll be moving on next week to another one, which,
We will.
We'll have a great topic because
Yeah.
that's pretty much what we do here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
this has been these guys, which we do every
Guy 1, guy 2,
Yeah.
guy 1, guy 2, however you want
That's
to look at it.
every Tuesday.
That's
One of
it.
these things comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
No problem.
These guys.
Yeah, this is it.
List edition.
List edition. Woo. You drove me away.
I drove him away.
I did. How you doing? Oh, baby.
Woo.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
No, not a problem.
Talking about how we're going to get coffee-like substances into the cup. Maybe we'll just do the chaga tea. It's black.
Chugga.
Maybe it'll look like what we're doing.